What are some challenges that you faced by either like federal government, state, local, any kind of challenges that you guys face as a dairy farm?
Yeah, so dairy farming is pretty challenging right now, especially since 2008. We've lost about 45,000 dairy farms in the United States. The biggest thing that we have challenges with is not only weather and pricing of our milk, but also regulations coming in from, urban areas. They don't really understand the rural communities. They don't understand what we do. And the biggest threat right now is housing developments. You look at our country and how fast we are developing, and we're building houses on a lot of agriculture land. And people don't understand, if we don't have agriculture land and the federal government continues to say they want more, then where are we going to be at in the next 10 years? Are we going to get our food from other countries? Are we going to see government overreach of our food supply? That's very concerning as a dairy farmer.
What would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions when it comes to the urban communities, what they might not realize about the rural communities and what's going on there?
We don't abuse our animals. That's the biggest thing. I showed cattle growing up. I was that little girl that went in my dad's F-150 back when I was like 5 and 6 and would pet the cows and feed the bottle to the calves. I think that not everybody is perfect, right? In every industry, you're gonna have somebody that is not doing the job correctly. But right now, family farmers and ranchers are going out of business so drastically. Everybody is doing everything they can just to keep their farms and show the public that we do take care of our animals. We are healthier for the planet than just getting rid of us, right? And, people just don't understand, getting their education from the farmer rancher. I think that's the biggest threat too, is like people sitting at home educating us about our food, but have never grown it. And so people out there listening, like, we take care of our animals, we're the best stewards of the land, and we want the best for agriculture.
Does it concern you at all to hear that, Bill Gates or the Chinese government even have been buying up just a lot of farmland across the United States? What's your take on that?
Yeah, so I've been pretty aggressive here about getting interviews about that because people don't understand, or I don't know if they don't understand or they just think it's like a back burner conversation. Agriculture is a huge conversation this year. I've been on many platforms talking about China coming in and buying up land, other countries taking over processing plants. Having ownership in our country is a big deal for our food security. And so you talk about Bill Gates and you talk about China. Well, Bill Gates in Singapore are investing in a processing plant that is chemically lab-grown food. And that's very concerning for me looking forward. You have the Biden and Pelosi administration trying to kill off agriculture, trying to regulate us, and then you're going to bring in other countries to feed us. That is a big no on my book, and we should be advocating against it.
Yesterday when we were talking, you mentioned something about the Netherlands.
Yeah, so the Netherlands, it's a pretty big topic, the last couple of months. So the Netherlands are proposing emissions, cut in the next 10 years by a drastic number. And if this does implement as a regulation, 3,000 farms in the Netherlands will go out automatically because they don't hit those requirements. And Netherlands, we have very strong imports and exports. They are real big farmers. They know what they're doing. They provide for the United States and for their own people. So you look at the Netherlands and you're asking yourself, like, is that going to come to the United States? Because that's an attack on their food security in their country. And I see it here in the United States. So the Netherlands are fighting back. They have protests. They have tractors driving at night. And, their country is really fighting against them because they think agriculture is the problem. That's what I feel like the American education has taught us, that agriculture is bad for the planet, that we don't need farmers and ranchers. Honestly, you do. You see big corporations coming in, they're going to control the market, they're going to control the pricing, you see it at the grocery store. So we cannot be like the Netherlands, or we will see food shortages in the next coming years.
If you were to have an intervention with a vegan and try to explain to them, why they should change their diet to maybe incorporate meat or dairy products, what would you say to them?
This is a great question because I have a huge platform and vegan and vegetarians actually follow me. They are like, you educate about regulations, you educate about our food supply, because you have to think, vegan and vegetarian, they're still eating lettuce and tomatoes, and farmers and ranchers are still growing those products. And so their main issue is with humane practices. And that's what I talk about a lot, is what we do on the farm. And I just tell them, this is what I do. This is how I care for my animals. If your kid got sick, would you just let her or him be sick? Or would you give them antibiotics to treat, pneumonia or a migraine or whatever it might be with my calves? If they are feeling unhealthy, I'm going to treat them with antibiotics, and I'm going to do it the correct way. And the same thing, a lot of videos out there, show down cows. That's a big thing in our industry. And those cows are 1,500 pounds to 2,300 pounds. And so we use a skid steer or tractor, and we put a machine on their hips to get them up, because a lot of people don't know you have to get that animal up or the animal is going to be down and you're going to have to euthanize it. So everything we do and every video they see, there is an explanation behind those videos, and you don't need PETA, you don't need these organizations telling you what we're doing. I want to educate you. And so vegans and vegetarians, especially on my platform, have been like, you gave me a new perspective of what agriculture is, what practices you do, and I feel like that's what we need in our country. We need to know exactly where our food is coming from. We need to know what animals get sick, because it's common, even as humans, and we need to know what the future of agriculture looks like, especially saving our family farmers and ranchers.